Well, looks like it's vinyl week here on the channel. Stay tuned for a review of the Fluance RT81 turntable. Hello YouTube, Chris the Frugal Audiophile here. Welcome back to my channel and another review. We're going to be talking some more vinyl today. Hope you enjoyed my Hindsight Reflections video released on Tuesday. And today I want to review for you this turntable right here. This is the Fluance RT81 turntable. And so this is the first turntable that I have ever owned. I have heard others before. I've seen reviews of so many of them, I can't even keep them all straight. But this is the first one that I've actually purchased and used myself. So that's kind of something to keep in mind here as we go through this review. This one's going to be a little bit subjective, as I do not have personal experience with a bunch of different turntables to compare with this one right here. All I can tell you is what I am experiencing myself using this turntable and what I think of it just in my own experience. So to begin, I want to talk about design. And this is a great looking turntable. You see here it has this nice solid MDF plinth. That's what they call the base here. It's called a plinth. I ordered it in the walnut color. I really like it. It's a very rich brown walnut looking color. It's not natural. It's not real wood, I should say. It's a veneer. It's kind of I can tell when I feel it. It feels like a veneer, but it looks good. And the reason I went with this color is because it reminds me of the turntable that my dad had when we were kids with the wood plinth. I don't know if his was actually walnut colored or if it was just a darker brown. All I know is that it kind of reminded me of that. And so that's why I picked out this one. I thought that it looked good for a turntable. To me, a turntable should look kind of retro, and I thought this looked more retro than the black or the white colors that were also offered by Fluance. So that's the plinth. It has a plastic dust cover here. Most of them are. That's not really abnormal, with some nice like soft little divots here for it to close. It does cause the needle to jump when you close it, but that's not uncommon. It has an aluminum platter. It's a very light platter, but it's not as light as acrylic. Supposedly acrylic is the best. I have nothing to compare with, but this is a good one. And then there is a rubber mat on it as well. You've got a very nice aluminum tone arm here with a removable head shell, which is pretty cool. I think that's a nice feature. We'll get more into that later. You can see maybe a little bit back here the counterweight and the anti-skating setting here for you. And then it has these plastic and silicone feet. They are not adjustable, but they do have a little bit of movement to kind of help keep it balanced when you set it on a surface. So they do flex, but they are not user adjustable. This turntable is approximately 5.5 inches high, and that is with the dust cover lowered, by 16.5 inches long and about 13 3/4 inch deep. So it's going to fit into a standard 17-inch rack space. It's not rack mountable, but it'll fit into that standard 17.5 rack space if you are concerned about that. And it weighs approximately 14 pounds. So it's not the lightest, but it's also not the heaviest turntable out there on the market. So the price on this turntable is $250. This is the midpoint in Fluance's line. Actually, it's kind of towards the bottom. They have 5 units ranging from $200 to $500. And as the price goes up, the quality of components goes up. This one was about at the right point for me that I was willing to pay for the features that were included with the model. So let's talk about those features now. And this is a 2-speed turntable. It can do both your 33s and your 45 RPM records. So that is a nice feature. And there is a nice dial that is used to set the speed and turn on the rotating platter. Now this is a belt-driven turntable. It is not a direct drive. Underneath the platter is the motor. Some turntables have those motors or those turn pegs exposed, but this one is underneath the platter. It's a little bit tricky to get the belt on. I'm going to talk about setup in a little bit, but once you have it set up, it's in there and you are good to go. Now this turntable has a built-in Texas Instruments preamplifier. It is not the most expensive amplifier out on the market. You can certainly, you could spend anywhere from $50 to several $1,000s on a phono preamp, but this has a decent Texas Instruments preamp built into, which is nice if you don't have a phono preamp available or you don't have one built into your receiver. It's already built into this unit here. But the nice thing is that preamp is defeatable. So if you want to upgrade to, like, say something from Project or iFi, or and the list goes on and on of phono preamps out on the market, and they can cost multiple thousands of dollars. But that's something you want to add in later. You can do that, and that's a nice feature. It's nice that it's built in. It's also nice that the preamp is defeatable. The cartridge on this model is the Audio-Technica AT95E. That is a decent cartridge. It is not a fancy, expensive cartridge, nor is it just a cheap, junk bin cartridge. It's a decent cartridge, but the nice thing is that the cartridge is replaceable, and you can add on something from like a more expensive Audio-Technica, or you can add on an Audiophile cartridge. Fluance sells those, as well as you can find them on Amazon. There's a lot of different cartridges that you could replace that one with, and I think that's a cool feature. Some of the less expensive turntables from Audio-Technica and Crosley and other brands like that you can find on Amazon, Victrola. You just stuck with whatever cartridge they put in because it's either not removable or you cannot adjust the counterweight. And that's what's nice about this unit, is back here it does have an adjustable counterweight as well as an adjustable anti-skating dial right here as well. So you can adjust these for different cartridges. Now, different cartridges require different weights on the stylus. And so that is an important feature to have. If you put in the wrong weight, it's going to mess up the sound of your record, and also it could cause damage to them as well. So that's a nice thing to have, and it's nice that you can replace. What I really like about this turntable is that it is very much upgradable. Say you're just getting into the hobby and you want to start out kind of in the less expensive but still good range. It's a great place to start, and then down the road in the future you can upgrade to more expensive components and upgrade your vinyl listening experience. Another nice feature of this turntable is an auto stop feature. This means that when the tone arm reaches the run out area of the record towards the middle there, it will stop. Some record players, they'll just keep spinning and spinning, and you'll hear this vut, 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 vut sound, and it'll just keep going and going, and it can be very annoying. Now, vinyl listening is certainly a much more involved process than picking your favorite playlist on your phone and hitting go. And it does require you to get up and turn the record over and turn on and off the record player and stuff like that. But say, for example, you put on side B of your favorite album and you fall asleep. Well, it's nice to know that the record's not going to just keep spinning, perhaps causing damage to it as well as the tone arm and creating that awful sounding noise coming through your speakers. You'll still hear it do it for just a few seconds. You'll think, oh man, this isn't working, but then it will shut off, and you can take out your record. Now, it does not move the arm back. It's not one of those types of record players. Not that fancy. You got to spend a lot more to get that feature. However, for some reason, the auto stop feature is also defeatable. I don't know why you wouldn't want to use it. Maybe there are people who have their reasons. I think it's a nice feature to have, and I just go ahead and leave that on. It also has a cue lever here, a nice cueing lever. You would think that that's not a feature that needs to be listed, but there are turntables that don't have that, so it's nice to have. You can go here and unlock it, unlock your turntable, pull that back, and then use this to cue up your record. Nice to have. And then it also has a tone arm lever right here that raises and lowers it. So what I do is I line up the needle as close as I think it is to the beginning of the record, and then I lower it down the tone arm, and then I turn on the record player and the motor begins spinning and playing the record. I'm still learning how to get that exactly right, where to put the stylus on the record. By the way, it's called a stylus, not a needle. Stylus is the correct term. But anyway, I am still learning the correct place to put that when I cue up the tone arm there. But it's nice to have that lever. Not all turntables have that as well. So there are a lot more features of this record player, and there's a lot more information available. I will list some more of that on the screen here as we go through this video, but also I will have a link to Fluance's website where they go through all of the minutiae of details regarding this turntable. And if you're interested in that, that will be available for you to check out at your leisure. So what was the assignment for the Fluance RT81 turntable? And it was to be a good sounding, easy to set up turntable at an affordable price. So how did it do on that? Well, to begin with, what it gets right, the first thing is design. I, for one, love the way this turntable looks. I think it has elegant, classy looks. It looks, I think, better than its price point, although there are better looking turntables out there, but I don't know about at this price point. So I really like that it's modern yet retro in its design. I think that Fluance did a great job there. They also did a great job with features. This turntable offers some features that you will not typically find at its price point. Things such as an adjustable counterweight, removable cartridge, a decent cartridge, a decent preamp built into it. All of these things add up to a great turntable, and I am not sure how Fluance is making any money on this thing, but I imagine that they are, or they would not keep selling them. So it has great features. What else it gets right is good sound. I don't have a lot to compare with for as far as turntable sound goes. I mean, I plug it into my system in there. I have a Denon X3400, an Emotiva power amp, and then I have a Perion 5T towers, and that's what I run the system with. Oh, and a couple of SVS SB12 NSD subs, and that's what I am running this turntable on and playing my records. And in that setup, I think it sounds amazing. You know, when I first got into vinyl, I started collecting this past summer. I was at a garage sale, and there were some records of artists that I really liked for a good price, and so I bought 4 of them, and that kind of began my vinyl journey. And so I was expecting, you know, kind of a muffled, an inaccurate, kind of distorted sound. And although it's not as crisp and clear as digital, it is a good sound. And I really enjoy how vinyl sounds. So it does sound good. And this, to me, is a good sounding turntable in my experience with turntables. I like it. I find it pleasing. Is there better on the market? Oh, certainly. But I don't know about at this price point. By the way, you probably heard me talk about this in the beginning of the video, but I did just release on Tuesday a Hindsight Reflections video regarding my thoughts on vinyl. So check that out. I'll leave a link up here in the card. A couple more features of this turntable that I really like, and what I think it also gets right, is the defeatable preamp, allowing you to add your own more expensive, better sounding preamp if that's what you like to do, as well as the swappable cartridge, allowing you could put, like if you wanted to, a $2,000 or $3,000 cartridge in this turntable. I don't know why someone would, but one could do that if they so choose. And so that's a great feature that you don't always see at a turntable in this price range. And another reason why I really like the Fluance RT81. So let's talk about what it gets wrong. And the first one I'm going to list is tedious setup. Because you have some upgradability and some swappability, there are some more tedious components of setting this turntable up. And for one thing, that is setting the counterweight. You have to put the counterweight on and get the dials just right. Otherwise, you're going to get some bad sounds when you play your vinyl. Now, for many, that might not be an issue, but for me with my vision struggles, that is a bit of a struggle. I was able to get it done, but it was tedious and pretty challenging for myself. I had to take my phone and use its zoom lens to do that, and it wasn't fun, but I got it done. Same thing with the anti-skating setting. Had to use my phone to zoom in on that, get it set up. For most of you who have perfectly fine vision, this should not be an issue, and you may actually see it as a benefit because it means that this turntable is more flexible in its setup. And finally, what it gets wrong is non-adjustable feet. Many turntables have feet that can be screwed up and down in order to get your turntable perfectly leveled, which is an issue and something that needs to be done with most turntables. Otherwise, your needle might kind of hit the groove wrong and cause some sound quality issues, maybe even cause damage to your records as well. So I wish that it had adjustable feet. They're more expensive, models do. I think the RT82 might actually have that feature, so at $300 is something worth considering. But that's something I would like to have seen in this model. I understand it's not there. They don't say that it's there, but especially in my setup where my floor is kind of slanting down a little bit in the room where I have it set up, it would be nice if I could adjust the feet and get it perfectly level. But you know, what can you do? It's not included in this turntable, and you gotta spend more money to get such features. So those aren't really big knocks on the RT81. Overall, it's a great turntable. And so that brings us into the frugality grade. And for the Fluance RT81, I am going to give it a very solid A. I think this is one of the highest grades I've given out so far. And that is because I really like the looks, the feature set, and the sound quality of this turntable in comparison to other ones at its price. I do believe that U-Turn makes one in this price range, but it doesn't have as many features, nor do I like the looks of it quite as much. But it's a good turntable, and it's worth taking a look at as well if it has a feature that you prefer over the Fluance turntable here. But you just can't find these features in similar price models, and that's why I'm going to give it such a high grade. So now what is my recommendation to you for the Fluance RT81? Well, if you have $250 to spend on a turntable, I cannot recommend it highly enough. If you're even looking in the $350 budget range, check this guy out. Maybe if you're not real familiar with turntables, it's your first turntable, start with it, and then you can look at other more expensive options to add on to it. Fluance does have higher models in their range as you could consider as well, but I think that the 81 is a great place to start and maybe a great place to end for many. And this brings me to my next recommendation, and that is if you're looking for a turntable with future upgradability, this is a great place to look. With the ability to change the cartridge and add an external preamp, this is a great choice for you, and I can't recommend it enough. Now, if you are looking for something that's a little simpler to set up, this is not the one for you. It is a little bit tedious, although there's probably worse ones out there, but it isn't a plug-and-play solution. You don't take it out of the box, plug it in, and go. If you need something like that, look at the Audio-Technica LP60X. It's a lot more plug and play. It just has a few simple setup steps. But that's what you need. It's not going to be the Fluance. And if you want something that is just the epitome of vinyl sound quality, you're probably going to have to look somewhere else. You're going to have to look at like a Project or a Riga or something along those lines, a more expensive turntable that is going to cost more than this one as well. This is a great entry point, and really it's a fantastic turntable overall, but it's not the epitome of vinyl luxury. Well, I thank you so much for watching this video. Do you own the Fluance RT81? What do you think of it? Do you disagree or agree with my recommendations here and my findings? Please let me know down in the comments below. I thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you have not already. Also, comment down below with your responses to my questions. And remember, frugal doesn't necessarily mean cheap.